everyone. If you, as Gretchen said, if you hover your mouse at the bottom of your Zoom window, usually you can click on the participants tab. And once doing that, a tab comes up on your right that allows you to mute or raise your hand. And if that's the way, so if everybody wants to try that out to see if they can find that button and raise their hand. Okay, we got pretty good. I think so far, yeah. Okay.
Hi, good morning. Eileen Warren has joined.
Hello, this is Marv Cones.
Greetings, welcome. Everybody, if while we're live, if we could have everybody mute their speakers unless we're asking questions, and at which point we'd want to raise our hand to allow us to communicate that way.
I guess I can mute everybody, but I'll also mute the speaker if I do, so.
Oh, yeah, okay. Is there any other housekeeping items? Gretchen, Carol, Roxy?
If you mute everybody, can you then just unmute who needs to speak?
Yes, and you can also unmute yourself. We should have done this as a webinar. I see that now, but we were in such a hurry to do this last night that we didn't get the right button on there, so I apologize for that in advance, but at least we got everybody online and meeting together. Feel free to use the chat. You can chat directly to a particular person, or you can chat to everybody in the meeting so that everybody can see that. We will occasionally put messages out there, like the one I'm putting in there, that has a link to the download that we would have handed out. So hopefully you're seeing that in the chat window. Please note, most things that you type in there, unless you're specific, it is going to go to everyone. So be careful on what you type in there. Also, your typing is being recorded, so that will be available after the session. So again, please be careful on what you type and what you say. This is going to be recorded. On that, Dwayne, I'm going to ask you to introduce our convener.
I will. I want to introduce you guys to Roxy Orr, our district governor for 2021. Roxy has been a member of Omaha Suburban Rotary for 15 years plus. Served many roles in the organization because of her incredible passion for Rotary and the tremendous good it does. She has never learned the word no, as you can tell by the fact that she's volunteered to be district governor. It's why she's here today. And upcoming year, she's going to tell us about her goals for what we want to accomplish as Rotarians. And then as a fun fact, I want to tell you that she says that she jumped out of an airplane in September 11th and was able to do that successfully. Is that a true statement, Roxy?
I'm still here.
You're still here. So everybody, please welcome Roxy to kick off our PETS training seminar.
Thanks, Dwayne. Good morning, everyone. I'm glad that you were all able to adapt to our new format of meeting. I would have rather have been in person, but this will work out quite well. And I welcome all of you. It's going to be an exciting year. Our year is starting out. The theme of this year is Rotary opens opportunities. And my goal is to make Rotary memorable. Well, it's starting out perfectly by all the changes that have happened even in this last week to our world. But as Rotarians, I think it's important for us to ease the stress that everyone is under and try to be solid leaders in our district in keeping Rotary active and growing and producing a quality that will sustain us through maybe some rocky roads the next few months, but we'll come out of it much stronger, and I think we'll all be better people for it. I'd like to open today just by sharing a message that I got at Assembly in January, where President-elect Holger Knack from Germany, he spoke, and again, the theme for the year is Rotary opens opportunity, and his goals as match up to my goals in our district by bringing our clubs closer together. And as we are meeting today online, I want us to become closer. I want our clubs to interact, to get to know each other, to work together on projects, and maybe setting goals to create larger grants to serve our communities and the world. As far as membership, we want Rotary to be sustainable. So Jared Bakewell is here today to give us some ideas on strengthening our clubs and being more selective when it comes to inviting people to join Rotary, to make sure that we're all on the same page and wanting to keep those people in our clubs, and they're a good match for our clubs, that they'll stay members for a long, long time. And Holger stressed to us that although we are targeting younger members to become Rotarians, there's no age that is wrong for Rotary. So we need to look at retirees, empty nesters, all different types of people, backgrounds, diversity, in making them lifelong Rotarians. So I want to make sure that I can help the clubs, and I am in the process of putting together my schedule for club visits this year. I'd like for all of you to send me, if you've got your calendars already built, I'd like for you to send me a date where you can plug me in, and I will give me a couple dates that might work well for you. I am going to work on that right away, so that would be helpful. I do know of a couple of clubs that I've already got on the schedule. Otherwise, I will pick a date, because I'd like to do it between June or July 1st and September, the end of September, to get the club visits in. And whether you want me at the club visit or you want me at a board meeting, I would like for you to share that with me, as Rotary has changed the rules, not really making it easier for people to become district governor. We're putting more emphasis on our area governors and empowering them to be your go-to people for frontline questions, problem solving, but you can always call me to see if there's any way we can help you. So that is one thing that I really want to stress. As far as Rotary's goals for the future, we're still trying to move forward with eradicating polio in the world, although that's probably not on people's minds right today, but we need to continue to make progress in that endeavor, and hopefully that we can all plan fundraisers this year to help raise money for polio. We must fulfill the promise that we made to the children of the world. So I am excited about this year going forward, and today's training session or enlightenment. Please, I'm going to just turn things back over to Gretchen to get things rolling then. Thank you.
I got 30 seconds. Can I have 30 seconds? Okay. So this whole section was about us getting to see each other and connect with each other physically and therefore cognitively and emotionally also. And we usually do a fun thing. Actually, Dwayne had a really cool activity plan. But for this moment, what I am really missing right now is hugs. So we have this thing, okay, I'm just a little weird. This thing called virtual hugs where you put your arms out and pretend as if you're hugging somebody or at least patting them on the back. So everybody do that, offer hugs to everybody. And then to feel the hug, hug yourself. Okay, I feel better. Okay, we're connected, thank you. We don't have you talking, Gretchen. Unmute yourself. Okay, there you go. Yeah, Roxy.
That's great. I will, let me just go through what my goals are for 2021. And what we want to, and Rotary has a new strategic plan and priorities and objectives. So the objectives is to increase the impact of Rotary, expand our reach, enhance participation and engagement, and increase our ability to adapt. As I mentioned earlier, today is a perfect example of increasing our ability to adapt. I would like to, one of the things that I'd like to do is grow Rotary through increasing our involvement and creation of Rotaract clubs, because Rotaract now is Rotary, and we want that engagement with them. So I'm hoping that we can, as a district, create more community-based Rotaract clubs. I'd love to see 2 or 3 community-based Rotaract clubs start.
Uh-oh. Well, I think we've kind of frozen Roxy. Does everybody see that? So let me just add on to what she is saying, because I know
Include them
there you
in
go.
all of our activities, whether our club projects or support them in their projects. Carol, did you have something?
You were cutting out just a little bit.
Oh, it could be my internet. Bless
Yeah.
the box. Anyway. We also want to create diversity in our Rotary clubs, and I'm going to let Carol talk about that a little bit, of what our goals are with the diversity.
Yeah, so the plan is to increase membership, but to increase our abilities to make the impact on our community, because that's really, you know, when you look at the 3 pillars of how Rotary operates, it's membership, it's foundation giving, and it's public image. And in order for us to really do well in all 3 of those, we need to diversify our clubs and expand them and ensure that they represent the communities that we're in. And so creating a greater sense of inclusion and belonging is going to be a big push over the next couple of years and beyond, frankly, to do that. But the goal is to expand diversity from the aspects of not just age and gender, which we've been working on, but also people of color, people of other nationalities and ethnic groups, people of a variety of religions, people of different identities and sexual orientation, in order to create a broader scope of our community. It also allows us to access greater numbers of people that maybe we haven't necessarily attracted or been able to maintain or retain as members in the past. So that's going to be a big focus. The goal is to grow exponentially each year, and exponentially is really the number. So, you know, Roxy's goal, I believe yours was 75. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and mine is 200. So, and that is net. And a big part of that is going to be getting that sense of belonging to retain members that we have and grow the diversity of our clubs so that we can expand our impact in our communities and expand the number of clubs. We're looking at satellite clubs and a variety of things to try to just grow our ability to make a difference.
Thank you. I think I've covered some of the other things that how we're going to move forward. We're going to, one thing that we're going to do this year, which we've never done before, is do monthly videos to send out to the different clubs of all the clubs of what we're going to, what's going on in the district, an update, hopefully make it fun, just like a minute video, which will be, I would rely on Jared to help us with that, and Jill, who is our public image chair. And we're going to also, I'd like to have quarterly meetings with the club presidents just to see how things are coming along. And we'll probably do that by Zoom meetings just so that it's easy for us to all connect. That way, we're going to stay more cohesive as a district, and I think that that will strengthen all of us knowing what's going on. One of the other aspects of that I want everybody to start thinking of is that at my district conference, which is May 14th and 15th of 2021, we're going to have a video contest of projects as we did a few years ago. But the theme of those videos are going to be Rotary Opens Opportunities. So I want all of the clubs to start thinking of what they're going to do and highlight those videos. And we'll update you later on what the details are. We'll have the capability of setting up times to make your videos. So there won't be any cost for the clubs or anything, but there will be a cash prize for the best video and project for at the end of the year. So, but that pretty much covers most everything that we want to do this year. And the bottom line is we want to continue to have fun and to make Rotary memorable. So Gretchen.
Oh, oops. You mean it's not all about us? Come on now.
Not all about us, though. I can. I want. They've changed the. Nobody has the packets though. Yeah. So thank you, Gretchen. So Rotary has changed the Rotary citation this year to empower the clubs to all make their own goals. And it's so different than it was before, and you need to pay attention to that. But the key is that you have to achieve the citation is that you need to make sure that you go online and to Rotary Club Central and put your goals in. And one thing I'd like to stress is to not make your goals so easy that you're not pushing your club to achieve. What was that? But to set your bar high and to make your club shine. So to achieve that is you need to select at least 13 goals or more and make sure that you reach those, and you will get your Rotary citation. And again, go over that with your committee chairs and set your goals to be a realistic goal. As far as that includes the foundation goals, membership, projects. And I think that's really exciting because of the fact that it engages our clubs more, that we can keep track of the growth in our Rotary. So are there? Correct. That's the key though, but you've got to be able to put them on Club Central. And if you have problems doing that, you could contact Nikki Klein or myself, and we'll help you get those goals on.
Your assistant governors can help you with that too.
Yes. Well, I think they all need to work hand in hand. You need to look at what the priorities are for the objects, and for RI or Rotary International, what they set out, and try to match up with that with your club goals. And I think all of it works hand in hand. There isn't anything that really is out of the ordinary, other than the creation of new clubs and the engagement of strengthening our membership through creating more impact with membership, and screening our members a little more carefully, different ideas of growing our clubs. That's a kind of a different direction than just building numbers. And that is a very important aspect that Holger stresses, and that retention factor is something that I feel is essential with Rotary. So those are the things that you need to look at as far as growing your club membership.
Yeah. Yeah. If not, I have it on mine. Did you put it up? Can you scroll down then? If you've got yours up, go ahead and scroll down, because one of the things I wanted to point out was a little bit of the how. Right there, stay right there. And I don't know if you can make that a little bigger. Stay, no, scroll up. I want the table. Strategic planning process overview, stay right there. Just bigger. There we go. Is a little bit of the how, and then I'm going to also share one of my screens with something that I think is important when you're thinking about your goals and looking at your club, kind of really even more than just 1 year, but looking out several years and creating that. You know, if you can do some really good succession planning and get president-elect nominees set early so that you can keep the ball rolling, if you will. These phases where it talks about assessing where your club is at. There's a lot of tools online to take a look at where your club's strengths are and challenges. There's some health checklists for your clubs and things along those lines, but really kind of seeing where they are, and then looking at kind of where you want to be in a few years, and kind of that vision. And that vision is something that doesn't need to change every year. It's really more of an identity. I say it's more of an identity for the club, so that you make sure everything you do fits within the identity of your club, what it is that your club really wants to be about. If you can do the visioning process that Rob has, that Rob Simming coordinates for the district, I would really strongly encourage that. And then to make your plan from that. see where the energy in the club really is, see where the identity really wants to be, and then track your progress. And that's what Rotary Club Central is for, right? So in phase 3, you're looking at setting your priorities and your goals. And then phase 4 is keeping track of them in Rotary Club Central. So let me share my screen. I can do that, right, Gretchen? All right, let me go to what I want. Okay, here it is. Share. Okay, let me scroll this. Make it. I'm probably going to need to make it a little smaller. So this is what's called a SOAR analysis. Many of you have probably heard of a SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Yeah, that's a bummer. SOAR, I'm a happy person. I'm an optimistic person. I'm an appreciative person. We got to come at it from that perspective. So really looking at, and not looking at this is where you can drill down a little bit more, where a SWOT analysis is really more big picture. SOAR, we can drill down and we could take every single one of those kind of priorities and say, what are our strengths, our club strengths around those priorities? What are our opportunities that we have access to and can create, and what this is going to do for us? And then the aspiration is really, if we really rock this, what can it be? And those are the goals you want to set, right? Is really, what can we really make happen here and make a difference? And then what resources are available to us? What talents do we have in our club? What connections do we have in our community? What does the district, how can the district support us? How can international support us? And if you can do that on your priorities, drill down a little bit, it'll help you in setting those goals. Even if it's just a thought process with you and your board, or with a task force or whatever, you can do that. If you want something bigger and more extensive, please feel free to contact me. I know I'm about to do something, hopefully, fingers crossed, and we get to keep it on the schedule, with Lincoln 14. So, and I can come in and help facilitate that, and I'm happy to do that for you. It's just a means of getting to those goals, at least in your own thought process, because we don't want to go in and just redo everything we've done in the past. We got to shake it up, and we've got to get aspirational, right? Get excited about what we can make happen. So now I'll get off my soapbox. So I will unshare my screen. How do I do that? Hang on a second. Where am I? Stop share. I'm done. Did I cover everything I was supposed to cover, Gretchen? Just one other point, and we didn't necessarily make this like perfectly clear. We're probably gonna have to reiterate it several times. Those emails that you received from Roxy that gave you the online courses to take, you're gonna need to do every one of those, and it will give you more information and some real clarity around some of the things we're talking about when we talk about inputting in Rotary Club Central and setting goals and doing those things. So make sure that you've kept those emails and you follow through and take all those courses.
And one thing I'd like to mention is that we need to make sure that we get certified in that harassment. That's something that Rotary is insisting that everyone take, and it keeps track of who has taken that course. So it's very important for all your club leaders to take that harassment learning segment. Okay. Yep. Okay, thank you, Gretchen. Well, I briefly went over that earlier, was that I still plan on doing DG visits. And I need to find out when you want me to come. There's different avenues that we could schedule that, whether it be an actual club meeting, which I really would like to plan for, but also if you'd rather me come to a board meeting or a special event, I'm open to doing either or all of the above. At those meetings, I want to match up to what your needs are in your club. So I'd like to visit with each one of the presidents to find out what you would like me to focus on in my presentation to your club. And whether it be membership, whether it would be public image, whether it be just general goals, and of course I'll do an overview of what the president, Rotary International president's focus is for the year. But I wanted to make it be fun, not boring. And, I don't want it to be the lowest attended meeting for your club of the year. That's a goal. One thing I'd like to mention is the flexibility in creating meetings is that if you have a group of members, or you're wanting to try to start a satellite club, those are great opportunities to grow your club and make it more accommodating to potential members or existing members by creating a different model of Rotary. And Rotary International has a lot of great ideas on Rotary.org as far as the diversity and club structure anymore. Rotary has lifted all requirements as far as how you can meet and what you can do with your clubs, which that, and depending on, I think Jared's going to touch on that with the membership, but it depends on your club. Your club can set your own guidelines as far as attendance goes and how you want to form your clubs. And one idea is a family club. If you're looking for a new idea of starting a club in your community, or creating a satellite club, there's a possibility of forming a family club for young families that they could meet on an evening and have their kids there in the home, so they don't have that added cost. There's a lot of different opportunities that people can explore and think outside the box in creating that. Or and every other, as far as meeting times, you might want to look at having, if you have a noon meeting, have a morning meeting that would accommodate people that can't make it to the luncheon. So think outside the box when it comes to, if you see a decline in your membership, to look at ways of keeping that membership strong by changing some of your guidelines.
Absolutely. I think I'm unmuted now, yes?
Yes.
Very good. All right, I'm going to attempt to share my screen here. Is everyone seeing that?
Yes.
All right, very good. So thank you very much for the time to speak today. I'll be speaking about membership. I will be the membership chair under Roxy, so thank you for the opportunity to serve there. Just so everyone knows the lens with which I view this through, I am a member of Omaha Suburban Rotary Club. I've been a member for 10 years and served as many committee chairs, secretary, president, and I'm currently serving as the Area 13 district governor, rather poorly under Mick, so I will be stepping up those efforts soon. But anyway, I'm excited to talk about membership today. So membership I look at as kind of a three-prong approach. So I'm going to talk mostly about engagement today, but I want to touch on recruitment and retention. So let's start with those two things and then we'll get into the meat of this. So with recruitment, that's what lots of us think about when we hear the word membership. And obviously recruitment is really important. So when we think about recruiting members to Rotary, I want to encourage you this year to think about it through a slightly different angle. And I believe that there's been some emphasis from Rotary International in the past of getting membership at all costs, and that we just want to put bodies in the room. And I think that that has been effective for recruiting members, but sometimes it's not the most effective methodology for engaged members and for retention. So something that I think that we can start to think about is recruiting from a position of strength, and that Rotary is not a great fit for everyone. And I'll give you a personal story and anecdote for understand that. So I was the member and the president of a different service club before I joined Rotary. And my dad, as many of you know, is in Rotary, and I didn't think that I quite had the qualifications to be a Rotary member, and I didn't meet the financial requirements to be a Rotary member. This was coming from someone who was an entrepreneur and business owner, and that moment where I was asked to be a member of Rotary, where someone reached out to me and said, I think you would be a good member of Rotary, was a really special moment for me, because I always looked up to Rotary as the pinnacle of service clubs in our community. And I believe that if we can start to position Rotary so that we can recruit from a position of strength, then we can really ask community leaders to join an organization that is filled with community leaders. So I think that's an important way to think about asking someone to be a member of Rotary. Identify those folks that are leaders in the community and ask them to join your club, which is filled with members that are leaders in your community already. So I think that's an important way to think about it. And then making sure that those people know what they're getting themselves into when they join Rotary can help with retention. So at Suburban, we have a two-step process where people basically sign a membership application indicating that they understand what they're getting themselves into along the lines of financial, attendance, and donation and time commitment. So making sure that potential members, before they become members, get an education process about what it's going to mean to be a member of Rotary can be important. So that's some notes on recruitment. Then on retention, I think something that sometimes happens in Rotary clubs is that people quietly slip out the back door just as a function of being busy. And like I talked about, we want to recruit community leaders. Those people are all very busy. It's really easy to let great members accidentally slip out the door of Rotary just because they feel like they haven't been reached out to or engaged with. So I encourage you to identify members of your club that are slipping below 50% attendance or slipping into whatever your club's attendance requirements are and not meeting those, and reach out to them personally, either someone within your club, whether it's the membership chairperson, or someone who is in a leadership level, and just make sure that those people know that their membership is valued and that they're appreciated and that you want them to stay a member of your club. So I think that can be really powerful. So let's get into the bulk of this real quick, the engagement piece of Rotary. So I'm going to speak about this with a lens of the engagement award that Brad Birkland and I helped create for our clubs, which is Suburban Rotary, like I mentioned, and then Omaha Downtown. So not every club will be able to implement this quite the way that our clubs did, or is it a good fit for, but the criteria and the methodology for implementation of it, I think, can really help you with engaging members of your club. Because engaged Rotarians stay Rotarians. I think that's really, really important to understand. When I joined Rotary, I overheard a member of our club say, if you want to be a leader in this club, 100% attendance is really important. And I made a decision that day that if I was going to be in Rotary, I was going to make it worth my time, make it worth the club's time, and I was going to strive for 100% attendance, which I've achieved for 10 years. And it is achievable for every Rotarian. It's just a matter of making the decision to doing it and making it a priority and allocating the time. So engagement is a step beyond that 100% retention or 100% attendance. So let's talk about this engagement award. So what is this? It's an award to encourage and celebrate member engagement across a variety of Rotary activities. So it's more than just attendance. And the reasons to create one is that it encourages more member involvement across the spectrum of Rotary activities. Like I mentioned earlier, engaged Rotarians stay Rotarians. It tracks club engagement historically, which can be very powerful, I think, if we start to log that over years, because it can show how engaging our activities are, our meetings are, our service projects are, our social events. So tracking it will have some historical data purposes. And then also to celebrate success. I think something that we can do really, really well in Rotary is celebrate the success of our Rotarians and our projects, and engagement is certainly one of those things. So in your award or in your efforts to engage Rotarians, what criteria makes sense to include? Obviously, community service is number one. Rotary, our motto of service above self, drives everything that we do. So making sure that community service activities is at the forefront of your engagement plan is really important. I also believe that committee involvement is crucial. As soon as you get a new member in the door, if you can get them placed onto a committee, that sets them on the trajectory to be a leader within your club. Because if they're a member of a committee, the next step is that potentially they are leading a project or leading a committee in the future. And once you engage someone at that level, their chances of leaving Rotary are much, much less. Also, guests and recruitment are really important. So focusing on and rewarding those members that bring guests and that recruit people to come to your club is crucial. The charity aspect of involvement in the club is really, really important. I remember talking to some Rotarians when I joined, and I asked them why they were a member of Rotary, and it struck me as how many of them mentioned that being a member of their local Rotary club gave them the ability and the engagement to donate to Rotary International. And I think that financial charity contribution to Rotary is something to really celebrate and reward within your clubs. Social activities are important. That's the fabric that connects us. It builds those bonds of friendship and gets you the ability to see some of your Rotary members outside of their normal, 9-to-5 jobs or in the meetings, and making sure that you identify and reward people who are coming to those social activities matters. Club service is a little different than community service. These are the things like serving as a greeter at your meetings and giving the invocation and those sorts of administrative duties that we need people to step up to make sure that they are getting that box checked in their level of engagement with your club. And then a miscellaneous category I think can be valuable. So that within this award has given club presidents the ability to stress different things throughout the year. So maybe you want to give a tick mark on the engagement award for attending a specific Rotary event or a specific meeting, like when Roxy visits for district governor would be something to consider. Okay, so communicating your engagement award or your engagement plan, do a rollout presentation, make it a big deal. Then weekly give podium announcements where you provide updates on it, put it on your website, and then include a leaderboard if you're going to track this. Email updates are valuable, and then make sure that you're celebrating people who achieve your engagement award by making that presentation to them, and do it publicly in front of the club. Tracking it, so I'll get to some tracking methodologies here in a second, but be realistic. Not every club can really track every nitty-gritty activity that every person attends. Make sure you put someone in charge so someone's accountable for it. We found some success with a public spreadsheet so that everyone knows where they stand, and it creates kind of a positive peer pressure to make sure that you're trying to strive for that engagement award. And then, you know, that allows for historical records as well. So this is what Brad Birkeland did at the downtown club. He had a leaderboard where he showed the people that were achieving the engagement award, which he allocated into these 6 areas. So greeting and club service, service projects, social events, committee engagement, guests, and donation. And you can see here that people could achieve above 100% engagement as well. This is what our clubs looked like last year. So we tracked it in a very similar way with guests, miscellaneous, donations to our foundations. And this was basically a sheet on Google Sheets that to our website and allowed people to get access to. So that is that. We celebrated it by creating a certificate that was presented in front of the club. We took a photo, we put it in our newsletter, and then Brad did something even, I think, more fun, is as they achieved the different areas of the engagement award, they added these jewels to their badges such that you could identify members of the club. I called it Brad Bling Birkeland for the year with how he did this. So anyway, that is some ideas for you and hopefully some framework for thinking about engagement. I want to leave a few moments for questions and just for some idea sharing, because although I'm the membership chair, I'm certainly not going to claim to have the monopoly on good ideas as far as engaging Rotarians, recruiting them, and retaining them. Before we do that, I will leave you with a couple of references here. In preparation for this meeting and this presentation, I was very, very, very pleasantly surprised with the quality of materials that are available for membership on My Rotary. So I really encourage you to take a look at that. This link you can see here, but if you log into my Absolutely. I'll also share, Gretchen, this presentation. So I've got a Dropbox link ready to go. So as soon as I'm done, I'll press enter on that, and then you can access that link. Great. Great. So in this role this year, I want to be a resource for everybody, and I'm available by email, by phone. You can text or call me. So If you need any assistance with your membership plans for recruitment, engagement, or attention, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm very passionate about Rotary. It's the time I spend during my day or week that I feel 100% good about what I'm doing. So please give me the opportunity to feel good during the week.
You've got it. Good morning, everyone. I first would like to thank, we have 55 people on this morning, and that is fantastic. So keep up the good work. So I'm Jill Sloop, and I am at Omaha West, and I'm your public image chair. We actually have a committee, and I'm sorry that it's just me today, but I just kind of want to give you a big overview. Again, similar to Jared, I want to offer our services as a committee to assist you in regards to being a resource. And today I'm actually going to demonstrate a couple tools that are available to all of you. And it is, I'm going to share my screen. Okay. This is, oh, hold on. Okay, here we go. All right. So right now, just so you know, I am on the Brand Central, Rotary International Brand Central. And I'm going to walk you through a few things, but I want to kind of give you a little bit of overview in regards to public image and how we basically support all of the facets of Rotary International. Specifically, in thinking about our current vision, which is to increase our impact and to expand reach and to enhance engagement, public image really does that. And there's been a little bit of a change of philosophy over the years. And public image now we're trying to all be on the same page and represent the brand in a similar way. And that's why a lot of you probably received your new logos. And so we're all consistent. We all look very, very similar. So I'm just going to walk you through some tools that are available to you. And right here on Rotary International, you do have to sign in to get these tools, but that's not too hard. So I'm going to come down here. There's basically 6 areas that can give you a lot of specifics. The first of which is people of action. And this is actually a very, very specific campaign. So you can come in here and actually see examples. Wow, my internet is really slow. I might not do a lot of that, but just talk about how things are kind of laid out within the website. The next section is basically guidelines, and within, I'm sorry, oh, no, okay, let's go back. I just wanted you to see what was within each category, but when I hover on the, oh, here we go. All right, well here, each of these categories on the website has specific tools available to you. So for example, you'll see under logos, there's the Rotary example or logos, there's themes, there's templates for you to use, there's program logos, and then the foundation logos. And with each of these subsets are the specific tools, starting with our story, then the guidelines, logos, materials. And within the materials, there are promotional resources, there are club resources, and I'll just kind of give you an example of what some of that. So here you could create your own. So by going in, you can create your own ads, your own videos, your own brochures. So almost every single product that you might need can be utilized here. You can import your own photos. But one of the aspects is again, being that we're all Rotarians within one umbrella, by using similar and branded materials, we all look the same. So if you're in Cincinnati, Ohio, or Tokyo, we're all kind of under that same brand. And that's kind of the new philosophy. All right, kind of the overview of the website. Are there any questions? I'm having a hard time seeing if there's any questions. Okay. Oh, Kim G's on our committee. So yeah, great. Even better. So I would encourage all of you to go on to the website and maybe spend 15, 20 minutes, understand what all the resources are. In the very near future, we will reschedule the public image seminar, and I would love it if we got 55 people to attend. And just keeping in mind, public image really can help you not only communicate your brand, help drive engagement, membership, recruitment. It helps all of us learn more about the projects or speakers that you're having at any of your meetings, and then any event or co-branded event. So it really kind of supports the People of Action campaign, and we will reschedule our public image seminar and invite all of you to attend that, or to have a representative from your club. So thank you very much.
Okay, so part of what I really wanted to focus on when it comes to inclusion is really that idea of helping every member of our club and every potential member that comes in that we deem like what Jared was saying about really quality members, people that are really going to get our message of service above self. If we can take them and focus on creating belonging for everyone. I do not want any misconception about the inclusion efforts that we're doing and the diversity efforts that we're doing to mean that we do not want to keep the membership that we have. We absolutely need to keep the membership that we have, and the wealth of knowledge and background and skill sets and all that of all of our current members are really, really important to all of our clubs. Inclusion is inclusion for everybody. At that same time, we're underrepresented in a lot of areas, and a lot of areas that I think that there are really, really awesome Rotarians out there that we can do something to bring into our clubs. And one of the messages I want to get across, I'm a huge Brene Brown fan, and every single time I mean, without question, every time I've opened up one of her books to read something, I get a message that I need to hear right now. Last night on the airplane, coming back from California, which, you know, amazingly, they let me come back. I don't, you know, as isolation as we're getting, I was wondering if I was going to get to leave the state. I was reading, and she talks about this sense of belonging. And there's just 3 bullet points I want to share with you. And I'm sorry that I did not get them typed out, but I can. But belonging is being somewhere where you want to be and they want you. Fitting in is somewhere where you want to be, but they don't care one way or the other. So we want people to feel like they belong, not just fit in. Belonging is being accepted for you. Fitting in is being accepted for being like everybody else. So it's the differences that we allow for and embrace and care about that is going to make that belonging happen. That we don't have to conform to a certain way of being to be a Rotarian. And the last one is, if I get to be me, I belong. If I have to be like you, I fit in. So we want people to belong and create our clubs that way. And Rotary, and I've said this countless times, but Rotary crosses all boundaries globally. We need to do it locally too. right? We need to be able to sit all kinds of people next to each other and work hard to do the things that are important to Rotary, the service above self, the areas of focus, the, you know, the avenues of service that we do as Rotarians in our clubs, and everyone can engage in that because that is a common set of values that is pretty universal, and there's a lot of people that will buy into what we're doing, and we just need to go recruiting, right? So one of the ideas that I'll share with you today, and I did actually, let me share my screen because I did actually do some strategies here that I managed to type up in a oh, okay, wait. And then I had a typo. Fixed it. Everybody see that? Okay, so some of the inclusion strategies is for us to do some outreach. And as a district, we're committed to helping that process by reaching out to kind of our underrepresented communities and engage those professionals in understanding what Rotary is in the big picture and encouraging them to come to your clubs. So one of those things that we're doing is that we will be one of the sponsors of the Centro Latino happy hour that they have right before Omaha Gives. And during that time, we'll be able to actually have a booth out that talks about Rotary in general. We'll have all of the clubs listed and give people all kinds of information, because I have been to this event for the last 2 years that it has been in existence, and it is a sea of potential Rotarians. These are people that want to engage in the community, that have really big hearts, that want to serve and be a part of something bigger than themselves, and that's who we are. So and they are a variety of ages and their own variety of backgrounds, and it's a really great place to do that. So we're looking for some more of those kinds of events district wide that we can get to be a part of as a Rotary district in order to help recruit potential really solid, good Rotarians for your clubs. As clubs, you know, we have a tendency to really rely on the, hey, members, bring somebody in. And, you know, we need to be more intentional, I think. And Jared talked about that, and he totally gets it, that, you know, we are looking for people that are going to be really, really good Rotarians and really buy into what we're doing and willing to engage and be a part of something. And so we need to intentionally seek that out, but we also need to intentionally seek differences so that our club has variety. And what that brings is innovation. It brings connections to different areas of the community. It allows for us to make a larger, wider impact because we have larger, wider information, right? The more people share about their own backgrounds and their own experiences, the more that we can connect our own community from within. And we need to be very transparent about our why. We need to be very transparent and say, you know what, we are recruiting diversity because of its importance to us and the value that it brings to us reaching our goals. And that we are seeking good Rotarians, and here's why. And the why that we belong to Rotary is individual and collective at the same time. And so getting people to really talk about why am I a Rotarian? Why is it important to me? And what Jared said was exactly what was important to me. I joined Rotary to network because I'm a small business owner, and I stayed because it gives me the opportunity to impact on a global scale that I just don't have access to any other way. And it just makes me feel better about me, right? And the work that I'm doing to build peace, to, you know, water and sanitation and all those things that we focus on. And then lastly, we need to take a pretty hard look at ourselves and our rituals in our clubs. And I just want to share the difference between a ritual and a tradition. A ritual is a rite, right? It's a long-standing way of doing something. A tradition is something that's cultural, right? And so if we look at at the culture of Rotary, about service above self, about the four-way test, about those kinds of things that are really, really important to us as Rotarians, right? Eradicating polio, the kinds of things that we engage in on a global scale and on a local scale. And even within our club, the kinds of tradition that we have, like my club's a singing club because it's how we share joy. Not everybody buys into that, but that's our why, and it is a tradition. It's not a rite or a ritual. A rite or a ritual are things that can be off-putting to others because they aren't inclusive, right? Traditions can still be inclusive, and they can transform and be that. You can transform some of your rituals into more inclusive traditions, and we can talk more about that. I'm going on and on, I'm sure. But do they pass the four-way test? When you look at your rituals, does it build goodwill and better friendships? Is it inclusive, right? Does it help us grow Rotary in the way that we need to in order to continue to impact the world? And right now, the world needs us so bad. So that's my soapbox. Is there anything I was supposed to share that I haven't? Oh, by the way, here's the other thing. Sorry, I did forget. I need to put out a quick advertisement. We are doing a training with Inclusive Communities, which is an organization in Omaha that specializes in unconscious bias and inclusion training. And we're going to do a 4-hour session, and it's going to be jam-packed. And part of what we're doing there is we're putting together a team, of membership people. So some of Jared's people, some of public image people. We need to get a variety of our members, and I can get up to, I think I can squeeze 25 of us in there. And you go through this training and learn for yourself about unconscious bias and what's called microaggressions, which are some of these rites and rituals that we do unintentionally that are and some of the language that we use unintentionally are exclusive. And then those people are going to be available to all the clubs to come out and do either a program at your club on inclusion or even a workshop. If you wanted to do something more like 90 minutes to 2 hours, we can do a workshop with a board or with your entire club. But we also are going to have that 25-minute, quick hit kind of presentation to have for a club program. So be watching for those things to be available. If you have people in your clubs, or if you would even like to join in this training from Inclusive Communities, make sure you message me so that I can make that happen. Love to have you. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Oops.
Okay. Thank you, Carol. We appreciate that help on there, that message. I know that this is really one of your platforms that you bring to the district.
My only platform.
Carol, Gretchen, if I could just mention, I really appreciate your involvement in that and angle on it. As a white male who grew up in suburban Omaha, the friendships of diversity that I've been able to make, I've had to be very intentional about curating, and I think that you have that mentality. So I really appreciate your voice on this, and I think you do a great job of it. And championing that within Rotary in Omaha and in our area of the country is really important. So thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And again, there's been a lot of great comments too in the Zoom group chat. That's really kind of fun to have going on the side so that we can have those side conversations. So we'll keep an eye on those too. One of the other things on inclusion, are there any other questions for Carol? If you want to raise your hand. Otherwise, I'm going to go on to the next session here. Okay, since I can't introduce myself, I'll just let myself go on here. This last part is one of my passions, which is really learning, making sure that people are aware of what resources are available. So I'm going to share my screen here, and I hope, okay, wait a minute, this screen share is really very different than before. So excuse us as we fuddle around in here. It is very hard. Couple of things through here. I'm going to jump ahead to our district website here. On our district website, we've had a section in here on pre-pets that we've been sending out as an email. And the way to get to that is under Learning and Reference, Topics, and then down at Training Events and Webinars. And we've had this email that's been going out. I call it our 8-step program. We did this as 8 separate emails, one each week, to just give you a little bit of information at a time, because there is so much that we want to expose you to, but we don't want you under the fire hose. We're trying to do a little bit of that today, but we are trying to back off somewhat to let you go through and explore these resources on your own instead of just giving you all the information all the time. And this 8-step program here is really, I stole it from another district. We did our zone training and somebody had started this, and I just kind of expanded on it and condensed it as well. So we came up with our 8-step program. If you go through all these different areas and take the learning classes and explore the different documents and different areas of the Rotary website, you really will be very well trained for your upcoming meeting. The last part we just need is getting working on the fellowship and other things that are also a part of Rotary. If you find your way to this point, that handout that we mentioned earlier that we referenced several times, that's now also on this page. The Learning Center gets a little bit hard to figure out at times. Oh, excuse me, let me start with this top link. At Rotary.org on learning your role as president. That gets back to this page and president here. So many things that we started telling in pets now live on this page under your resources and reference and your tools. Knowing where you go for these things is really so important. The one thing that's a little bit different in our district than in others is to update your club membership data. This is the one part we do want to make sure that you do on your either your club's club runner site or on the district club runner site. That's really about the only difference from the tools here versus the training that you've gotten and where it is. And in that handout that I mentioned, Nikki and I have worked very closely on coming up with a couple of charts to make it very easy to figure out what you're supposed to enter where. Going back to our 8-step program here, if you hadn't figured this out, so many of these links in the Learning Center modules will take you right to that module. These are a little bit hard to figure out in the Learning Center, so I really like that I can click right on the club basics and it goes through all the different modules. We talked before when Carol's section on committing to diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's now an online training session. And then we've mentioned this a couple of times. This is a required course for all president-elects and district officers to preventing and addressing harassment. It shows on here, it's an e-learning module that's supposed to take 45 minutes. I can tell you it doesn't take nearly that long. Yeah, I can see everybody shaking their head that they've gone through this. So don't be deceived by the times on there. You really can go through it much faster than what it shows. Yes.
One thing on that one is that even though you feel like you're done with that one, make sure you go back, because you're not done until it tells you that you've completed it.
And actually, I'm glad you pointed that out, because I went back through here because I wanted to make sure that mine showed 100% complete. And mine wasn't 100% complete anymore because they had updated the information on harassment. So this is going to be an online course that is going to change over time. So especially on these important ones, it's important to go back and recheck those. If you want to look at any of the other course catalogs, you can just use the hamburger icon up there, go to course catalogs, and there are so many different courses out there. From engaging members, there's a lot on membership, lot in other languages too, but the nice part about all of these is that there are direct links to these, so it's much easier to share something that you find that's good to be able to share it with others. Let's see. I'm sorry, just trying to go through making sure that we have everything covered in there. We do try to have a lot of the important information that you don't get anyplace else in this Lead Your Club brochure, so we hope you do download it and work through it. And I think that's about it. Are there any questions on the resources that anybody has? I'm going to stop my share so I can actually see the chat window. Okay. I don't see any other questions on there that anybody wants to bring up. Okay, Roxy, I'm going to turn it back over to you here, and you can also bring in Bill Harvey as needed, talking about bringing our district.
Thank you, Gretchen. Yeah, I'd like Bill Harvey to chime in this morning and give us some goals for the foundation and grants and information from his committee.
Sounds good, Roxy. Thank you so much. Glad to join everyone here this morning. Hope everyone can hear me all right. Since for the next 10 hours, we're going to be just a brief outline of the Rotary Foundation. Oh, did you say 10 minutes? I'm sorry, Roxy.
You did say 10 minutes. Yeah.
10 minutes. Oh, 10 minutes. Okay. Well, I'm a lawyer, so I tend to go on, but I'll try to talk fast. How about that? What I'd like to do seriously is just, I know you're getting a lot of information this morning. I remember being in your chair as a president-elect, and you have a lot to absorb, and you're thinking about your year, and you have a lot to think about. I want to just give you a few bullet points about the foundation to remember this morning, so that you have some easy things to remember. The first thing I'm going to hit you with is a great way to have one great way to help have a great Rotary year is to do a district grant within your club. And if your club's done district grants before, you're familiar with this process. If you haven't, we have a lot of resources at the district that we'd be happy to walk you through this, talk to you about it, have discussions about this. Here's the important thing to remember. The deadline for applying for a district grant for your president year is coming up. It's in 2 months. It's at the end of May of 2020, May 31 of 2020, this year. So just in about 2.5 months here, that's the deadline to apply for district grants. So that's an important thing to remember if you want to get a district grant for your president year. There's still plenty of time to do this. The application is an online process. It's very easy to do. Again, we can walk you through that, but it's really pretty easy to walk through when you log on and see the online process. Here's another important thing to remember. In order to do a district grant, you have to have 2 members of your club, and preferably it'd be somebody who's really involved with the grant and somebody who's involved with club leadership. We encourage club presidents to do this, or club treasurer, to participate in a grant management seminar. And we put on 3 grant management seminars in April and May. So those are coming up. It's going to be April 14th, April 28th, and May 7th. It's about an 1.5 hour commitment. You only have to go to one. Each person only has to go to one, but you have to have 2 club members who do this. And you can check the district website for those specific dates and times. Again, it's April 14th, April 28th, and May 7th. They're all in the evening. We try to mix up the days of the week and the times a little bit, just to be able to try to accommodate everyone's schedule. So take a look at those dates. If you have any feedback on that, always feel free to contact me. All my contact information is on the district website. And an important reminder is that you need to do the district, the grant management seminar every year. So if you had 2 club members attend the grant management seminars last year or 2 years ago, you'll need to have 2 members attend again this year on one of those dates, April 14, April 28th, or May 7th, in order for your club to be eligible to apply for a district grant. Now, the great thing about district grants is they can really stretch your club's resources. And we have a fair amount of money to give away to clubs to help you do district grants. We have more than $50,000 that we can give away. It's actually a little closer to $60,000 that we can give away this Rotary year in district grants. Now, each district grant can be a maximum of $1,500. They're matching grants. So your club comes up with $1,500, and then you can apply to the district for another $1,500. So you can do a $3,000 project. But here's the great thing, and this is something that Governor Roxy really wants me to stress and wants to stress our clubs to stress this year, is doing multiple club grants. So one of the things that not everybody knows about is that you can join with other clubs to do grants, other clubs in our district. Every club that joins in a grant can apply for another $1,500. So, and you can do this with up to 4 clubs. So if 4 clubs join together on a grant, on these matching grants, you could do a project up to $12,000, which is a very sizable project. If you're wondering what kind of projects qualify for district grants, easy answer. It's on our website. Go to the district website, look at the Rotary Foundation tab on our district website, and you'll see all our district grants that were allowed for the last several years, and the wonderful projects that are in that list. I won't list them all today, because if I started listing them, I'd make 1 or 2 clubs real happy, and I'd make all the rest mad who I didn't mention their grants. But every one of those projects is very worthwhile, and I encourage you to just take a little time and look through those lists. It's a great resource and a great way to get ideas, and also a great way to see which clubs have gotten involved in district grants. So if you haven't been involved before, you can get a hold of one of these clubs, and you'll be off and running in no time. And again, there's so much more to share about this, but we'll cover a lot of that in our grant management seminars. Again, they're about an hour and a half, and we talk about the basics about the foundation. We talk about district grants. We talk about global grants. So it's a very good way to learn about how the foundation works and how grants work. Now, I would just want to touch for a second. Roxy, if I still got a little time? Okay, that sounds great. I'd like to touch for a second on contributions, because all of our grants within the district are funded by contributions from Rotarians within our district. So without contributions, there aren't any district grants. The one thing I'd tell you about your year and contributions from your club is, number one, pick a good foundation share. If you haven't already selected your foundation share, sometimes as president, it's hard to find somebody and you name yourself as foundation just to fill the blank. I'd really encourage you to look within your club for a member that's either already well engaged with the foundation, or for somebody who you think could get more engaged in the club or in the foundation, and find somebody who can get excited about that role, because it can really help you out and it can help our foundation out. Number two, make the Rotary Foundation part of your meetings. Just a little time at every meeting. You can do Paul Harris recognitions for club members who are already contributing. You can do a foundation minute. And third, and my final point, which Roxy would be relieved to hear, is reach out. Reach out to the district website, reach out to the Rotary website, which I hadn't mentioned before, but there's also a Rotary Foundation tab on the Rotary.org website. Tremendous, tremendous resources on there. Far more than time allows to describe here, but I encourage you to get on there and just start clicking, and you can spend half a day on there just looking at all the wonderful resources, videos, and so forth that are on there. And the third one is reach out to your district team. Feel free to reach out to me. call me, email me. All my contact information's on the district website. I would love to come to your club meeting. I'd love to come for Paul Harris recognition and help with that. I'd love to come speak at your club meeting. I've got a PowerPoint. I can keep it as short as you want, but I'd be happy to come to your club meetings. Give me a holler, be happy to do that. Reach out to our other team members. I didn't talk much about global grants, but Ed Walsh at Suburban is our global grants chair, and he is tremendous. He's a tremendous resource, done a lot of global grants, very smart. And Nikki Klein, I should not finish this without mentioning Nikki Klein, who really handles our district grant process, is instrumental in helping with the grant management seminars. And you can always reach out to Nikki when you're dealing with your district grants. She's tremendous. Gretchen, do we have any questions that came up on the comments? I'm not hearing anything.
Gretchen, you're muted.
Okay.
He did get a shout out.
Gretchen,
Bill got a
that's the
shout out
first
that he's a
time
great
I've ever
speaker.
Never heard Gretchen muted before.
Thank you. Yeah, the comment on here was that from Kim was that you are a wonderful speaker and that everybody should invite you to their club to speak. And I will second that. You're a great person to just sit down with as well, with a glass of wine or scotch or whatever else, and go over these things. So we
happy to do that also.
You've done.
Thank you, Gretchen. Appreciate it. And thanks, Kim.
Yeah. What we were going to do in this section on the live event was to really get people working together. And I'm very glad to see that we had a couple of people that were already reaching out in the group chat to say that we should do a group grant together. And to kind of help that out, in that handout, there's a couple of pages in there on just a brainstorming worksheet. Now, this is not the official form on grants or anything else. This is, I just kind of went through and took the top things of, if you're a club president, what do you want to think about quickly to get done with somebody else? So you might want to take a look in those worksheets and just give some brainstorming, contact somebody else that you saw nearby from one of the clubs, and just see what you can come up working with. Roxy, anything else you want to say on bringing our districts together in this section?
Thanks,
Before we
Gretchen.
get to the closing.
Actually, I want to stress that I'm going to open things up that clubs can interact with each other, get resources to contact information, that you can call each other and form more of a cohesive interaction with the clubs so that we can plan. I mean, I feel like we've kind of gotten away from being able to interact as much. So I'm hoping to open up more communication and easier access so that we can email each other from the district website to make that contact. The old-fashioned way, have phone numbers that we can contact everybody. And Gretchen said no, but yes, we need to be able to open up access so that we can interact and grow our district and projects. I mean, not only can we do a district project, but we could partner up with another district to make a huge global grant. There's so many different opportunities, and I want everyone to be a part of that growth. And ideas are never bad ideas, not at all. So yeah, and the bottom line is, I want to thank everybody for showing up this morning. And I think this is going to be a tremendous year to make Rotary memorable, and we're going to all have fun with it. So
Roxy, just a couple of things before you get to some of your final things on there. We do have some announcements that we want to do. Is Mick McKinley online? Do you want to mention anything about your upcoming district conference?
I am online. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my district conference, provided our Corona friends go away, will be July 24th and 25th in Council Bluffs at Iowa Western Community College. We've got some really great stuff that's set up. And one of the things that I'm doing to try and encourage clubs to get their members to the conference is that we're going to be offering clubs a $50 I guess a $50 grant, so to speak, for each member that attends the conference. So let's say your club actually gets 20 people to go to the conference, or 20 members to go to the conference. You're going to get $1,000 back in the form of a grant, matching grant, that would go along with any district grant that you might have. So if the club raises $1,000, you get $1,000 coming back from the district conference from your attendance there, and you'll be able to couple that with the $1,000 from DDF funds, so you got a $3,000 project. So I think it's kind of a neat little incentive that we've come up with to try and encourage Rotarians to come to the conference, to learn a lot of things that are going on. We have Jennifer Jones as our keynote speaker on Friday. She is a past Rotary International Vice President, current trustee of the foundation. And if you've ever heard Jennifer, she's a fantastic speaker. And we've also, we got some interesting entertainment that's going to be coming up Friday night. You're going to be able to hear from the Rotary Poobahs, which is kind of an interesting little group of Rotarians who happen to have some musical, I'm not going to call it talent, but they'll be able to put a little band together, and you'll be able to hear them kind of give you a little bit of entertainment. And then the rest of the evening would be filled with a 50s rock and roll band called the Grease Band, of which is an old bunch of fraternity brothers of mine who we started that band back over 40 years ago. And they're still playing, and they play places like the Ozone and different places like that. So it's really it'll be a fun, entertaining evening. Saturday night will be, again, we have a president's rep that's coming in, Jeffrey Romine, and he will be, conveying a lot of Mark Maloney's messages on everything that we've been able to accomplish this last year. So, and then we will have awards that evening for all of the clubs, and to be able to recognize the good work that all of our clubs have been doing. So really looking forward to that. We've got some great rates on hotel rooms, anywhere from, I think it's $94 to $95 or $99 a night. 3 different hotels, all Marriott branded type of hotels. So we're trying to make that nice and convenient. And I guess the last thing I would say is that, bring your families. We've got things lined up for things to do in Council Bluffs, for the families to be able to go and see museums, all kinds of different things like that. So you can find out a little bit more about our community. So with that, I'd encourage everybody. We'd love to have you come to the conference. The information will be out on the Rotary website. I was wanting to have a flyer here. I've got it about 99% done, and I didn't get it to you, Gretchen, sorry. But again, thanks for the time to let me bring that up, and thanks everybody for being here today.
And Roxy, do you want to mention your district conference?
I'd like to reiterate, it's May 14th and 15th in Omaha at the Marriott Regency, and then we're going to have Saturday night at Henry Doorly Zoo. We're going to have some family time starting at 4 o'clock on that Saturday for families to bring their kids. It's going to be a family dinner celebration that Saturday night at the zoo at the Treetop Lounge or Treetop Restaurant, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. And then we're going to do a fundraiser for polio at the new Top Golf. We're going to do a drive for polio on Friday. So I think we've already got things rolling, and I've already got a keynote speaker. His name is Jason Brown, and he spoke at International Assembly this year, and I've heard him speak before. He's full of energy, and he's going to be talking about making Rotary memorable and also on diversity. So I think that will be an exciting speaker. And so that's all we've got planned so far, but
Okay.
it's getting there.
So there's a lot of other things that we could spend probably another 20 minutes going through all the other things that the district has to offer, but I'm not going to let everybody else speak on there. Mick has to because he's a district officer, but everybody else, I'm muting your microphone on there. We will get links out there on things like visioning, One Rotary Summit, RLI, and we've been asked to restart the Metro Quarterly Presidents Meeting, which was an face-to-face meeting of all the Metro area presidents. And we may find a way to get that done on Zoom meeting and find a way to invite everybody out there so we can continue to form an inclusive group within us. But the last word today does belong to our convener, Roxy Orr. So Roxy, please give us your last thoughts for the day.
Well, I just want to thank everybody again for signing on today. And I hope that this abbreviated PET seminar was useful to you. And again, if you have any questions or anything, please give any of us a call. And Gretchen, are we going to send out a survey for this to see how people liked it?
I suppose we should. This was a last minute thing, so we appreciate everybody's flexibility on this. And yeah, we'll get a survey out.
Okay, well, thank you to everyone today, especially the people that have come on from other districts. That was great that you joined us today. And that's all I've got to say. Let's just make the goal of having fun and making Rotary memorable. Thank you.
Thank you. If anybody has any questions and you want to stay online, we'll be glad to stay online and answer those. And again, contact any of us. All our contact information's on the district website. And we will really appreciate those calls. And thank you again for attending.
Bye, guys. There's nothing for me. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Hi, Phil.
By the way, my luggage was delivered to the coffee shop downstairs.
Yay.
Dwayne, I'm sorry I didn't let you get done as much as I said you were going to.
It was awesome. You guys ran a great meeting, right on time. Very, very packed with useful information. That's awesome.
Do you want to stop recording now?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah, they probably didn't